Hi, everybody. Chef AJ here. Today is Wednesday, November 7th. I'll just wait a moment to see if anybody's watching. It's one of the things that's a little bit annoying about doing lives is you don't always know. Check my phone. I'm doing it from the computer today when we do it with, Alice, thank you. Okay, so somebody's there. Terrific. So hi there. And welcome to episode 100 of Weight Loss Wednesday. Hi, Angela. Hi, everybody. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Louisa. I'll just keep saying hi. That's what we'll do. We'll just say hi to everybody. So episode 100 of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, the creator of the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, and this is where I answer your questions about healthy, permanent, and sustainable weight loss. It's hard to believe that a mere short 2 years ago, on November 6, 2016, I did my first episode, and it was a mistake. And what I mean by that is I was very new to technology. I had only had an iPhone for a couple of months, and I was trying to interact with the participants of my Ultimate Weight Loss Program, and I didn't know you had to be on a certain page, and it ended up going out to everybody, and who knew that we would be here 2 years and 99 episodes later. So thank you so much for being here. So I have a couple of announcements today, and the first and foremost is that we are, in honor of episode 100, offering 2 scholarships to the Ultimate Weight Loss Program. And we're going to save that for a little bit later in the broadcast so that you'll hang on. If you're already in Ultimate Weight Loss, why not have your friends watch or share this broadcast so that they can consider having a scholarship if that's something they would be interested in. So I'm not sure where to start. It's so weird when you do it yourself, not having Kenny or Eden. Eden's out of town, and Kenny's not here either. But I wanted to do episode 100 the same way I did episode 1, which was just me talking to the computer, which if you've ever done it, it's actually quite weird. So the first thing I want to say is this is going to be the last live episode. It's not going to be the last episode, and it's not going to be my last live interaction, but it is going to be the last live episode of Weight Loss Wednesday as we know it. And there's lots of reasons. First and foremost, you may or may not be able to hear this right now, but I live in an apartment building where they're doing major renovations, including a complete repipe. And it's really noisy, and not on the weekend, but then it wouldn't be Weight Loss Wednesday. It would be a Slim Down Saturday or something like that. So that's one reason. It makes it very difficult because I can't control when the construction people are here, and they have a right to be here from dawn till dusk. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 has to do with the screen behind me. Now, you may have noticed, if you watch me, that I usually use a screen that says, sorry, I'm looking over there to cut a link here for you guys, that I usually use a screen that says Chef AJ. And, boy, that's why, hold on. And, this is so frustrating. Sorry, I'm trying to cut and paste a link right here to what I'm doing. Anyway, and I have a new screen. Did anybody notice that I had a new screen? This is really frustrating. I'm not going to be able to post it. Sorry, Toby. I'll have to post it afterwards. So anyway, the reason I have a new screen, oops, sorry about that. Now that's where we go. This is technology and me. We're not so great. So the reason I have a new screen is because I'm doing something really amazing. And it is what it says behind me, the real truth about weight loss. So there has been a summit that's gone on twice. It's called the Plant Fit Summit. And it's produced by a couple of gentlemen in Singapore named Luke and Toby. And this last summit, which was in September, I had the honor of being one of the guests. And when one of the 2 gentlemen that produced the summit, named Toby, contacted me about a weight loss summit, I said I would be very interested. And I thought he meant just to be a guest expert or interview. I had no idea he actually wanted to bestow me the honor of being the host. And so I am doing this wonderful endeavor, which I'm going to be posting about it very soon. I thought I was going to be able to cut and paste the link, but it's not so easy doing this and that at the same time. The summit is going to take place early next year, either in January or February, but I've got about 30 interviews to do with some amazing experts, most of who you guys know. And once I post the link to the website, you'll be able to see. I'd like you to not, if you know the link, please don't post it. Let me post the link so that I can show you where I'd prefer you to know that you are registered because you saw it here. But anyway, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. I feel I've been preparing for it for many years by interviewing people. It's funny because I was just listening to an interview I did when I was doing teleclasses. I didn't always do video. I used to do this weekly teleclass. I had 77 episodes on my website, and I was listening to the interview with Dr. Michael Roizen of the Cleveland Clinic because he's one of the experts I'm going to interview. And I'm thinking, that really wasn't bad. The thing is, it's really hard to interview people audio if you're not also looking at them because there tends to be interruptions. So that's why even if you're only doing audio, it's always good to do it through a video format so you can see them. I learned that after 77 episodes of interrupting people because I couldn't see them. But this is going to take up a tremendous amount of my time, and I want to devote all my time and energy to making this the best project that I can. That said, there were another reason at play. I really feel that anything I have to say or have said about weight loss and food addiction, I've said it already. I really don't have anything new to say, and that's why I really prefer my new life behind the camera more than my former life in front of the camera. Now, that doesn't mean I won't speak occasionally at conferences or be interviewed, but I have said everything that I can say. I cannot think of one question I haven't answered. I get the same questions even here today on this feed, the same question that's been answered hundreds of times. And I not that I'm being short with you guys for asking them, it's just that the answers are there. Now, if I had known this was going to go on 100 episodes, I would have done a more careful job of archiving the episodes. In other words, I should have done, in hindsight's always 2020, and I'm doing that now, is like, especially with the interviews I do on YouTube or with Doug Lyle, is when I'm done, I kind of do a synopsis. And I should have done that, but I didn't. And I don't have time right now to watch 100 episodes. But the reality is every question you guys have ever asked and probably ever will ask is answered in those 100 episodes. Tony Robbins says that repetition is the mother of skill. And I'm not sure that more is better. And I could keep creating new content and new recipes, but there's so much good content that already exists. And I put 7 years of my life into this book. And really everything I know to be true for myself and other people that I've worked with about both weight loss and food addiction is in this book. And a lot of people say, well, I can't afford the book. Well, I'm going to tell you today how to get the book for free. Well, first of all, the book is only $17.97 today on Amazon, so it's less than $20. And if you live in LA, you can't even go to the movies for $20. It's less than $10 if you buy it Kindle, and the audiobook on Audible now is somewhere in between. But if you can't afford $10, $15, or $20, what you can do is you can go to the public library in your community. At least this is the case in the United States. I can't vouch for people that live in other countries how this works. But you can go to the public library and you can fill out a form. Many of the libraries also have this form online where you request a book, and then they will get the book, and then you can check the book out, and then it will be absolutely free. And if your library will not do that, then I would be happy to donate the book to your library, but not to you, but to your library, if that is really the case. So that's the thing. It's all the answers are there. The thing is, sometimes you just got to do it. And I really would recommend that you watch the episodes. You don't necessarily have to watch them in order, but that might be a good way to do it. And if I have the time to archive them or the money to pay somebody, that might help you to know what questions were answered. But I'm answering all the questions over and over. And I don't know how it helps me to keep doing that. So, thank Rithvik said he loved the teleclass. Thank you. And I love you, Rithvik. He's the most extraordinary man. He's a college student that eats this way, and he's young and he's adorable. And thanks for saying I look cute, Greta. This is my $5.99 coat. You know what? I will take a look at some of these. This is why it's nice having somebody help you, because they can read the questions. For those who don't get a scholarship, can we get a discount? No, I'm sorry, you cannot, because there's a lot that goes into running the program, and I have business partners, and it's not fair to give a discount to something that other people paid full price for. There are 2 scholarships. You can pay on PayPal, and then it's $25 a month, and you can have the payments over time, and then you don't pay interest on it. But the program is already discounted. If you've ever done any programs, people are paying 10 times more for similar programs than mine, I'm told. So I'm sorry that I can't give discounts. So that's that. But like I said, there's 100 episodes that you know, you can watch. You know, here's the thing is if you want to just do the program, you don't need to pay any money. The program is, well, let me put it this way, the program's not free, because what you're paying for is the support of myself and John Pierre and all the technical stuff that goes on into it that my husband Charles does. So the 3 people have a job running this program, and JP and I basically monitor the boards from the minute we wake up in the morning till the minute we go to bed. And even though we don't comment on every post, because by the way, if you try liking every post, I've had that happen where Facebook has locked me out for days. But we read every post, and that's what you're paying for, is the support. You're not paying for the dietary advice, because that's free, because I've given that freely. It's the True North diet. It's eating to the left of the red line. We can go into a little bit what the program is. So since sorry, what's your name? Oh, you like the new screen, Angela? I'm only going to be using it for the summit. I have permission to use it for today. So where's the thing? Sorry, it's hard doing it yourself. The person that asked for the discount. I'll tell you what the program is so you can do it, or at least the diet, and then the program, no, I'm sorry, it's not free and there's not a discount. We've done scholarships before, and we've also found that sometimes the people that have won them are the most difficult people we have in the program, because when you don't have skin in the game, you don't often really take it seriously. And there's a lot of evidence to actually support that. So let's see, okay, going in order. You're going to miss, oh no, Jewel, I'm still going to use the other screen for all my other interactions. And by the way, just because this is the last live Weight Loss Wednesday, it doesn't mean it's the last Weight Loss Wednesday. I plan on doing a video for every recipe in my book, or almost every recipe. And those will not be live. They'll be much shorter, which a lot of people said they appreciate the shorter format. And should I come across a question that I feel either hasn't been answered, or maybe that I want to emphasize a point, I'll still do that, maybe 1 or 2 questions per episode, but it won't be like this, where, because this is a really hard way to deliver content anyway. So, and it's not the best way. I would rather interact with the people that are in the group that really understand the program than having to reinvent the wheel every time and say what it is. So, sorry, found you. Glad you found me, Kathy. You finally found me. Hi, Sherry. Okay. So, all right. Oh, yes, it was an honor, Debbie, to be chosen as the host of the project, because I'm interviewing just incredible people. Like, I'll tell you who some of them are. Well, of course, the usual suspects like Dr. Furman, Dr. McDougall, Dr. Greger. I'm interviewing people like Dr. Tom Campbell, Dr. Michelle McMacken, Rich Roll, just incredible, incredible doctors. There's about, well, they're not all doctors, but they're influencers. I'm going to be interviewing High Carb Canna. So there's 30 people. So it's going to be pretty cool. So Linda, if you need the program, then please enter for one of the 2 scholarships. I'm going to tell you how to do that. Yes, lipstick and matching earrings, always, Julia. Absolutely. All right. Just okay. Yeah, my jacket wasn't $5, Julie. It was $5.99. Yeah. Debbie says, the book is amazing. Have to buy the book for reference and wonderful recipes. Thank you. Another nice comment from Debbie saying the same thing. The program's changed your life. Down 85 pounds and kept it off since February. Wow, that best program in the world. Thank you so much. Well, we hope that it is helpful to people that do it. Makes a huge difference in the ability to consume the material, Jennifer says. I'm not sure what she means, but maybe watching it over and over. Okay. Yeah, Andrea says maybe a few of us can watch episodes and write a synopsis. I mean, that would be a great idea. I would hate for like everybody to rewatch the same episode. If I was thinking how to do that, like just get 100 people each to watch one episode. Some of them are very short because lately they have been just the recipe ones, which they've been as short as 10 minutes. And so those, lately I've been doing that. Carol says, I did not realize you could pay over time. Going to look into it. Yeah, you can't do that on our website, but PayPal, definitely. Anytime you do something on PayPal, you can have interest-free payments over 6 months. Tom Kramer's here. Staying alive is priceless. All right. Sherry says she's never felt better. Tupperware party or 2. Yeah, sure. No, I'm still going to do lives. By the way, I have another show I do called Healthy Living Live, and that's my favorite show to do because I love interviewing people. As a matter of fact, in a couple hours, I'll be interviewing Mama Says from Mama Says, the food company, they now have an SOS-free line, and so we'll be able to, you'll be able to interact with me then. I just won't be able to ask questions specifically on weight loss and food addiction. But since I mentioned Mama Says, which of these two do you like better? Do you like the one that's all purple, or the one that has a little color in it? Because this is going to be the Chef AJ approved thing. So you want, tell me what you like better, the purple or the one that's not all purple. So that's going to be cool. We're going to tell you how you get SOS free food. All right. Yeah, Teresa, there is a private and secret Facebook group for people in the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, and that's where all the magic happens, at least the support. So BJ says 149.99 is a deal. Actually, it's only 149. So we'll give you, it's not 99 cents more, but yeah, we haven't raised the price in years. How do you enter the scholarship? I'm going to tell you at the end so that you'll stay on. Jennifer likes the audio book. Okay. Jean says the book is amazing. So yeah, this is hard to do the broadcast and look at the comments, so I might have to just go back to the comments. So there is something I want to talk about today, actually, because I want to end the last live broadcast on what I think is really the most important thing and why so many people are struggling. So let's just go over what the program is. And by the way, you know, the truth is, and I said this on my most popular YouTube video that I ever did, which is called Easy Meals to Make You Thin, where I held up both of these books. And, you know, of course, I would love for you to buy my book, but there are people that don't like me, and most of them actually are on the McDougall board, and so they'll never buy my book, and they don't need to, because if you want to lose weight, all you gotta do is buy this book. Do what this book says. Go to his website. All the information is free. Do the diet. What I offer is the support and the community, but I didn't make up the diet. God made up the diet. It's fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. Eating to the left of the red line. That's what the dietary style of the Ultimate Weight Loss Program is. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. The 4 food groups that are on Dr. Neil Barnard's PCRM Power Plate. These are the foods that are to the left of the red line. We avoid all the SOFAs, sugar, oil, flour, alcohol, and salt, which are chemicals that are added to the food that fool the brain's satiety mechanisms and cause you to exponentially overeat and have cravings and eat more food than you intended. And as far as the high-fat plant foods to the right of the red line, the avocados, nuts, and seeds, we limit them. And in some people, we actually suggest they don't have them, or at least for a period of time, if they have trouble moderating them or if they're trigger foods for them. And as long as there's fat on your body, if you go without nuts for 21 days, I promise you, you won't drop dead. So that's it. That's what you do, is you eat to the left of the red line. You eat as much as you want, as often as you want, whenever you want, until comfortably full. And almost everybody loses weight till they're very close to the ideal weight. That's the dietary style. If you had to only read one book the rest of your life, I'd read this one, because this answers everything. This answers why you can't do it. So this is why you can't do it if you can't do it, and this is how to do it. And again, you don't want to buy my book, this one. I love this book. It's on Audible. And that's it. So class dismissed. But I'm going to tell you what I think I have brought to the table that is not in those books. And I'm going to show you this little chart that Janine Elder made for me. Thank you, Janine. She is the most wonderful graphic designer. She's from Potato Wisdom, and she sells purses and t-shirts. So there's a lot of wonderful plant-based programs out there, and you've probably heard of all of them, or at least many of them. And there's also a lot of food addiction programs out there that are not plant-based. I don't think any of them are. And so what I did is I merged my knowledge of plant-based nutrition that I gathered just from being vegan for over 40 years. And of course, I graduated from Cornell course and worked with or studied with many of the doctors, worked at True North for many years, learning from some of the best. So I merged everything I knew about plant-based nutrition, both for health and weight loss, with everything I knew from working with experts in the food addiction world, who none of them are vegan. And that's how I created UWL. And UWL is a very, very small circle. Or it's not even a circle, it's just and so that's the way it is. Now, not everybody's a food addict, but after you watch the summit, you might reevaluate what you think of as what a food addict is. So it's a terrible term for a disease, or just in general, people resist that notion of addict. But whether you are a food addict or not, the foods that we avoid in ultimate weight loss. The sugar, the oil, the flour, the alcohol, and salt are addictive foods. Just like some people can drink alcohol and not be alcoholic. If you're an alcoholic, it's not you. And are there people that can have sugar and oil and flour and salt and not be overweight? Sure. But if you're overweight or having cravings, then it's not you. The thing about the plant-based programs, and by the way, you know, the plant-based programs cast a wide net to include as many people as possible. And so many people will not need anything more than, I don't even need to mention them by names because these are all my friends and I love all their programs. Any of them will be fine, whichever one you like. If it works for you, keep doing it. I've always said, do the least restrictive program you can do and get results. But what the plant-based programs that do not deal with food addiction have in common is they keep in some foods that are still okay for people's health in terms of reversing heart disease or diabetes or some other diseases, that these are not unhealthy foods, like having a little sugar on your oatmeal or a little salt on your vegetables or a little flour to make a gravy. These are not unhealthy foods, but they keep them in their program and their recipes, which is fine for the people that it is fine for, the people that can reverse their disease and get to the ideal weight with them. But for people that are suffering from refined food addiction, sugar, flour, alcohol, having even small amounts of these in these recipes are going to either trigger them so that they are going to keep eating, or they won't be able to lose weight just because sugar and flour do have a very high caloric density. And so because the people in the plant-based communities are not experts in food addiction and they want to cast a wider net, they don't worry about the sugar and the flour and even some of the groups, the salt in their recipes. And they're doing a great job and they're helping thousands of people that are reversing their disease and losing weight. So again, if you can do any other program, these are all my friends, do their program, and they're free. I mean, I'm sure their books aren't free of the people, but I mean, they've all got Facebook groups and things like that, so you can do that. The problem is if you are a food addict, and again, we've done many, many episodes going over whether or not a person is a food addict, and we could argue till the cows come home. Hi, Bailey, I'll pick you up in a minute. Then there are going to be some ingredients in these programs that aren't going to work for you. The dietary style of the Ultimate Weight Loss Program is the same dietary style that Dr. Alan Goldhammer has served to over 30,000 patients in the last 32 years at the True North Health Center, which not only works beautifully for weight loss, but works great for people that suffer from food addictions. Now, the problem with the food addiction programs, and probably I would say 50% of the people that come to me as clients came from one of the strict food addiction programs, which are not vegan, and many of them are actually anti-vegan and will tell the person that they absolutely cannot recover from food addiction or lose weight if they are vegan because they believe that animal protein is superior. And when I heard that, that's when I started UWL, because I said, that's bullshit. That's not true, because I recovered and so can you. You don't have to kill animals so that you can have a calm, stable brain and a slender body. You have to be abstinent of sugar and flour and alcohol, which is what they recommend, which I agree with. But these groups also have you eat oil and salt. But what they do is they have you weigh and measure your food on a plate the rest of your life, and that's the answer. And it works as long as you keep doing it forever. But how many of you can do that forever? Because by the time you get to me, the people I get from the weighing and measuring programs are the most difficult people to work with because they can't undo the programming. And generally they come as bingers because they have eaten less food than their body requires for so long, and especially less starch, because in most of these programs, they either completely eliminate starch or let them have something like 4 ounces a day. And I'm like, 4 ounces? I eat like 4 pounds of starch a day. How do you live on 4 ounces of starch a day? Or they'll say, well, just beans. And what about people that can't have beans? There's a lot of them. But anyway, the point is what I like about these programs is they're abstinence-based. And UWL is an abstinence-based program based on the abstinence of SOFAs, sugar, oil, flour, alcohol, salt. And it's really hard for people. And the reason it's hard is because they're addicts. If you weren't an addict, it wouldn't be hard. Because I eat the same diet as Dr. Alan Goldhammer and his son Gar and his wife Jennifer. And it's not hard for them, but they're not addicts. If it's hard, it's because you're an addict. So that's what the diet is. The program is online, and when you pay for the program, you get the support of myself, John Pierre, and a whole tribe of people that eat like this. All right, so moving on. Okay, now what I want to talk about today, and don't worry, I'm not just leaving you hanging on for no reason. I am going to announce the how to get the scholarship. I really, really want to post this link, but it's so hard doing two things at once. You can just give me 1 second. Maybe if I go over here, I will be able to do it. Okay. All right, good. And there we go. Okay, I really, really wanted to post this today because this is how you get to, there we go. Okay, let's see if that took. I wanted to give you the link for the Real Truth About Weight Loss Summit. There we go. So you can register for that now, even though it's not till next year. So in order to get the scholarship, you're going to have to go to 2 different blogs because they are running the program. Yes, Tammy and Kristen from now on are going to run the program for me. That sounds good because I need a vacation. Kristen Bummer and Tammy Kramer, who have 2 of my favorite blogs, and I only subscribe to about 4 blogs, are going to be running the program. Keep saying that, Freudian slip. They're going to be running the contest. Now, obviously, everybody's eligible to win, but we hope that, I know that we can't ask for your tax return, but I sure hope that you would consider, if you have the money to join the program, you would let the people that really don't have the money be the ones that enter. These scholarships were donated by somebody that wants to be anonymous. He is a medical doctor that came to the Live Ultimate Weight Loss Conference in Las Vegas to support his girlfriend, and he was so impressed that he immediately wrote us a check and said, I want you to give scholarships to 2 people. Whenever somebody gives us money like that to give a scholarship, we match it. Just like KCET, if you ever watch the public television, they match the donations. So we already matched it, giving it to 2 people that did have financial need that contacted us. And so now we want to open this to other people. And it's going to be run on these 2 blogs. One is called Nutmeg Notebook. Take that in. It's a great blog, even if you don't end up signing up for or entering the contest. That's Tammy Kramer's blog. And she also, by the way, does cooking webinars. And she has a fabulous Mexican one. And I'm going to see if I can get her to post the link. There we go. And then Kristen Bummer, her blog is The Nourishing Life. And these are both ladies that have had remarkable success on the Ultimate Weight Loss Program. I wrote The Nourishment Life. This is the other thing about Live. It's life.net. There we go. So you'll want to sign up for both of their blogs, even if you don't want to be in the contest, because they're awesome blogs with awesome recipes and awesome motivation. And then they're going to tell you how they're going to run the contest. And I'm not going to be involved. I'm just going to welcome the winner warmly. And I'm not going to, they said, do you want to pick the winner? I said, no, you guys, you pick who you think is best. So there we go. You don't see the link to sign up. So why can't you see the link? All right. So anyway, I'm seeing if you have any questions that I could answer today. It does really go by very fast, So I will try to answer them. I saw there was a question about plateau, but I know I've answered that so many times already. The answer is sequencing and, vegetables first. What I do want to say is what's different about the Ultimate Weight Loss Program than any of these other programs is the vegetables for breakfast. And I know I've gone over that in previous episodes, but that's really important. And there we go. Sorry, the light went away. That's one of the main reasons people don't join the program, that heard about it from friends saying, because I don't want to eat vegetables for breakfast. And probably the most profound thing I heard during my recovery from Dr. Ellen Goldhammer, True North, was somebody was asking him that because they eat vegetables a lot at True North. I mean, they serve vegetables for breakfast steamed. They have a 24-hour salad bar. And he said, show me a fat person. I'll show you somebody unwilling to eat enough raw salad and steamed vegetables. And if Dr. Goldhammer eats vegetables for breakfast and it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. But the reality is most people come to the Ultimate Weight Loss Program as food addicts or at least sugar addicts. And that is the one thing that has been proven to annihilate the cravings, to turn off the hunger switch. And that's why we do it. And it becomes a habit, and actually you begin to love it. And when you don't get your vegetables, like when you're on a cruise, you sorely miss them. All right, so what I want to talk about today is what I think is the most important thing, not just in the Ultimate Weight Loss Program, but in any lifestyle change or modification program. And I talk about this a lot, and then people either poo-poo it or they get mad at me for saying it, and you probably know what's coming, and that's the environment. As I've just made introductory contact with the 30 experts that are going to be on the Real Truth About Weight Loss Summit, we've just had some dialogues about what they want to talk about, what they think is important. The idea is, in the Real Truth About Weight Loss Summit, what we're trying to get to is why, in this time of human history, are there more people that are overweight or obese than in any other time of human history, and what can we do about it, and what is the real truth about weight loss? And when they've been communicating with me, saying what they want to talk about, every single one of them has talked about how critically important the environment is to recovery, that it's the #1 predictor of success. And interestingly enough, Dr. Tom Campbell, the son of Dr. T. Colin Campbell, who they co-wrote the China study together, had a post yesterday on Twitter that I'm going to share with you. Last November, Dr. Campbell spoke at the Remedy Conference in Atlanta that I was privileged to be a speaker of. And he put a slide up and he said, if you have temptation anywhere in your environment, you will fail. And I took a picture of the slide and I posted it on Facebook, and people started getting mad at me, and because people don't like to hear the truth. You know, Dr. McDougall's been saying for a long time that people like good news about their bad habits. Well, people sure hate bad news about their bad habits. And so yesterday on Twitter, Dr. Tom Campbell wrote on moderation, from a nutritional health concern, it's probably true that anything in very small amounts is likely fine. But my concern is more of a behavioral one. In our food environment, where we're constantly being pulled to consume processed foods, it's unlikely that someone who truly eats perfectly 95% of the time and indulges in obviously unhealthy foods 5% of the time. So it's unlikely that someone eats good 95% of the time and bad 5% of the time. I don't think I've ever met that person. People are almost always consuming less healthy foods than they realize, and our environment is tilted so toward unhealthy food. We aren't all that different from rats, whose food choices are easily manipulated by changing their food environment. If you want long-term success, you must have an environment that does not require self-regulation to make the healthy choice. And he's not the only one that says that. He posted the link to an article in the Washington Post, which is not a vegan propaganda publication or even about food addiction. And you can find this. I posted it, I think I posted it on my Facebook page. And the whole idea of the article is to lose weight, don't just resist temptation, remove it. And until somebody's willing to clean their environment, I don't know how much help I or the program is going to be. So it's sort of like if you had lung cancer and you went to your doctor and you wanted to get better and not have cancer anymore. I have trouble with lights today. And you said to the doctor, you know, I'm willing to do anything to get rid of this lung cancer except for stop smoking. And so when you say, well, I'm willing to do anything to lose weight and recover from food addiction and clean my except for clean my environment, it's like, how can I help you? I don't know. You know, people say, oh, Chef AJ, you know, you're so perfect. I'm not perfect, except in one area. Well, actually 2 areas, if you want to use the word perfect. My environment is perfect. Ever since I found out I was a food addict and started the Ultimate Weight Loss Program on January 2nd, 2012, I have had a perfect environment. And that is the secret to my success. Followed by the second area that I'm somewhat perfect in, except when I travel and can't do it, and that's in preparation. Because if all you have in your environment is healthy food, you'll make the healthy choice. That will be the default. So I never have to choose. I never have to use willpower to resist the unhealthy foods. I only have to wait till I'm hungry, and then everything in my environment, which is fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, tastes good. So if I'm perfect in preparation and I'm perfect in environment. I'm not perfect in abstinence. That's what I strive to be, but I acknowledge that abstinence is required to recover. And too many people come to the Ultimate Weight Loss Program not wanting to gain health, but simply wanting to lose weight. And we know that by the fact that so many of them still smoke cigarettes, drink alcohol, vape marijuana, drink coffee. So they're not there for health. They're not even really there for recovery from addiction. They're there to lose weight. And it's probably not going to work long term. All diets work. That's been proven in the medical literature. It doesn't matter what diet you do. It's going to work for weight loss, at least in the short term. So the idea is to find a dietary style that you like and can stick with. But if you're an addict, anytime you do a dietary style that includes either foods that are addictive for you or trigger foods for you, you probably ultimately will fail. And with an unclean environment, you're going to have to use willpower to resist those foods. And I know people say, oh, well, it's not my favorite flavor. And I mean, I can't tell you how many stories I've heard about why it's okay to have certain things in the environment. You know, we talked about in Ultimate Weight Loss recently, the difference between can't and don't on one of the 63 days of abstinence posts. A lot of people say, oh, I can't have sugar. I can't have this, you know? And that's very disempowering when you say can't, because I can have sugar. I can. I mean, if somebody offered me $1,000 right now to eat it'd have to be vegan. I'm not going to compromise my integrity. But if somebody offered me $1,000 to eat a vegan cookie, I'd like, sure, I'll do it. I can eat sugar, but I don't. I choose not to. That is much more powerful than saying, oh, I can't, poor me, the doctor said. No, I mean, I can, I don't. And it's the same thing with environments. So many of the people that I work with and so many people that are currently in Ultimate Weight Loss say, oh, I can't clean my environment. I live with my parents, or I live with my children or my husband or my wife, and they don't want to eat this way. What do you mean you can't? If I were to give you $1 million to clean your environment, you think you could clean your environment? If I were to torture one of your children if you didn't clean your environment, do you think you can clean your environment? You can, you just won't. Now, why you won't is going to be different for everybody, but saying you can't is not only not true, but it's very disempowering. You know, I've had 3 clients that had the worst environments you can imagine. And I contacted them before this broadcast, and they'd given me permission to share what their environment was, not their names. And they had the most difficult environments you can imagine. One of them was actually in prison for 6 months. Talk about a tough environment that you can't control. One of them was in the armed forces. And one of them was in a college dorm situation. Now, a lot of people here have children that are not even old enough to drive, that they are continuing to buy unhealthy crap food for. And Dr. Furman said at the conference this weekend that if you do that, that's child abuse. So I have such a hard time wrapping my head around this. And I don't mean to make people feel bad, but I don't understand how you can be in an abstinence-based program and understand how bad sugar and flour and alcohol are, and then still feed it to your kids. That makes no sense to me. That just proves to me you don't care about health. You just care about your vanity and weight loss. If you're going to continue to feed your children these foods now that you know the truth. Dr. Furman wrote a book years ago called Disease Proof Your Child, where he talked about how all adult cancers are caused by what the kids eat the first 10 years of life. And he has a newer book called Fast Food Genocide, which talks about how when you eat these foods or feed them to your family, how it causes brain damage and aberrant behavior. And so how could you say, well, you know, my spouse looked at that and doesn't believe it? Really? What medical school did your spouse go to, huh? That he doesn't believe what Dr. Furman says. So, you know, the reality is you hang around a barbershop long enough, it's a matter of time until you get a haircut. And it doesn't matter if it's not your favorite flavor and it doesn't call to you. Now, I've worked with over 3,000 people now, and I've only seen 3 people so far. I've seen people lose weight in an unclean environment, but so many of the people I work with mostly women, don't just want to lose weight to not have a heart attack. They want to be thin. There's nothing wrong with that, because there are some advantages to being thinner. I don't mean you have to be thin. Nobody has to be as thin as me. I have my reasons, specifically avoiding knee surgery, because a few pounds on a compromised knee, it's 5 pounds for every pound. You don't have to be stick thin, but most women I know want to be thinner than they are. And so I haven't seen very many get to the very thinnest ideal weight living in an unclean environment, but I've seen a few lose weight in an unclean environment. But I don't see long-term data. I don't see them doing it for more than 2 years or 7 years like I have, so I don't know. And the thing is even if they're able to white knuckle it or stay slim, I don't know what's going on in their brain. Because when you have those foods in your environment, they're banging on your brain and calling to you. You know they're there on some level, even if you have a locked cabinet, which by the way doesn't always work, because we've had stories of relapse where somehow the lock didn't get locked, You're genetically hardwired to prefer the most concentrated source of calories in your environment. That's for survival. But for our ancestors, those concentrated source of calories, like occasional meat or high-fat plant foods, they weren't every day. And so when our ancestors saw them, they would gorge on them. But now they are every single day, every corner, every hardware store, you have this environment. And if you have your house like that, I got to agree with Dr. Tom Campbell. If you have temptation anywhere in your environment, you will fail. It's just a matter of when. Now, these 3 individuals in my program that are so far doing okay in an unclean environment have, one of them, I'm not sure how they feel about this, but the other 2 have said to me that they're scared because they don't know what's going to happen if something really bad happens. They have a bad day and, something. They don't know. So far, they haven't had a bad day. And the other one has never really shared with me what the level of craving is like, knowing that those foods are there. But you know what? If you can recover in an unclean environment, do it, and then please write a book about it, because every single expert that I'm interviewing would like to know how to help their patients do it, because we don't see a lot of success rate in an unclean environment. When people say, well, I can't, my husband won't eat this way. And I said, well, if I gave him $1 million, would he do it? And then, oh, yeah. Well, I remember I used to Skype for free to family members that were not cooperative. I don't do that anymore because I realize there's nothing I can do. I'm not a psychologist. I can't make people change. But I remember that when this came up and I said, well, would you do it for $1 million? And he goes, hell, I'd do it for $1,000. So it's like, how much does your family mean to you? The problem is most people need some kind of intervention. And you don't have to see Dr. Doug Lisle, my favorite, but if you're living with somebody that refuses to respect you enough to have a clean environment, I think you have bigger problems than the environment. Now, Dr. Lisle said he's happy to talk to anybody, not for free. He charges $75 for 30 minutes to help you negotiate the clean environment because he says it's going to be very different for everybody based on the personality of the person and the other family members. But the thing is, when you say you can't, it's like, have you tried? I mean, have you tried any kind of negotiation or mediation or Dr. Lisle, or are you just given up? Is it because on some level you want those foods there so that when you relapse or slip, you can blame somebody else? The reason you couldn't lose weight or recover from food addiction is because your family has to have those foods. Why does your family have to have those foods? Now, it's different if they're paying rent. You see, here's the thing. Your young kids are not paying rent. And so why do they get a choice anyway until they're paying rent? That's what I don't understand. These foods are poison. You say, oh, well, but they're healthy, they're thin. You know what? Being thin does not mean you're healthy, by the way. A lot of people have tofu, thin outside, fat inside. So just because your child is thin doesn't mean they're healthy or not having brain damage from having these foods. Again, please read Fast Food Genocide. Have your spouse read it and maybe have your children read it. So just because your family's thin doesn't mean anything to me other than they're thin. And that's not a reason for them to have those foods. The fact that they're thin on these foods shows that they're sick, because that they can eat that crap and not gain weight, there's something wrong with them. So that's number one. But the thing is, if you were allergic to cats and your family wanted a cat, would you still let them get a cat? I mean, you don't have to tell them they can't love cats or play with cats, but would you just let them get a cat? I mean, I have to think that there's some level of self-esteem that must be missing from the people that allow themselves to live in an unclean environment if their desire is to have a clean environment. If you don't care, I don't care. But if you're constantly having cravings or having even minor slips or major relapses because of your environment, how are we going to help you if you don't clean your environment? So don't say you can't, say you won't, and figure out how you can. Because that's what I would do first before you buy another book or do another diet program, is to figure out how you can get your environment clean. If it's in your house, it's in your mouth, and it's not a question of if you will eat it, only when. And I've seen this happen now time and time again. So I'm going to now announce, well, I've already announced, but I'm going to re-announce how you can go and win or enter the contest for the program. I'd love for you guys to please consider signing up for the Real Truth About Weight Loss Summit. I've posted the link twice. I'd love for you to subscribe to both of these wonderful blogs, Nutmeg Notebook and The Nourishing Life, where the contest will be run. And I'd love for you to consider signing up for my mailing list at eatunprocessed.com or subscribing to me on YouTube. You know, now that I'm not going to be doing Weight Loss Wednesday live, it's even more important to subscribe to me on YouTube if you want to see the Weight Loss Wednesdays, which will be done in video format, pre-recorded with recipes, because that's how you're going to be notified every time we post one, which hopefully will be on Wednesday, so we can keep calling it Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm going to be doing a recipe from the book almost every week. I am not going to type the recipe out, not because I'm trying to get you to buy the book, because I do these from my phone and I don't have my book on my phone and I can't cut and paste the recipe. So it's really as a people have requested that have the book that they'd like to see a video tutorial, and that's who it's for. If you don't want to buy my book, it's okay, but please don't ask me to type out the recipe because I don't have time to do that. I don't even have time to answer my email. I've got about 2,000 right now. So the best way to reach me, if you want to stay connected, is of course first through the Ultimate Weight Loss Program. I give that priority to my own email. And the second is just to send an email through the mailing list at eatunprocessed.com. I do not have a personal Facebook page. So if you send me a Facebook message, I can see that you sent it, but I can't open it or answer it, so you're not going to get an answer. So please do not send me Facebook messages or Instagram messages because I don't get those. I can see them, but I don't get them. So again, that's about it. I thought I would cry saying goodbye to you after 100 episodes, but it's not goodbye because I'll be back in an hour interviewing Meg from Mama Says on the SOS free line, and I'm going to be giving you I think a discount code if you want to get that. That would really help, I think, a lot of people to have SOS free food. And good night, Jennifer in the UK, past her bedtime. Let's see. So some of these comments, I'm trying to see if there's any last minute questions. Yeah, so some people are just agreeing with me, and so I love that. As Dr. Goldhammer said, I assess a person's intelligence by how much they agree with me. So Mary Ellen says, I need to take the crap away from my kids. They never get the stuff from me, but other family members give them junk, and it's hard. It's just making it hard for their taste buds to change like mine. Yeah, well, then tell your other family members they can't give it to them. I mean, do they give your kids alcohol and cocaine and cigarettes too? I mean, you guys have to stand up for yourself and, draw a line in the sand, Kelly says health in a clean environment is better than money. And, that's about it. My home environment is great. When I walk out the door, that gets me, Teresa says. The more I say no, my resistance muscle is stronger. Yeah, absolutely. That's why we teach you so many tricks in Ultimate Weight Loss, the tools like the green powders, the essential oils, things that you can do. You take your environment with you, and that's why it's so important to always take your food with you, because then you always have your environment with you. So, if anybody's on watching now that has a clean environment, maybe you can post how critical that was to your success. And do you think you could have lost weight and recovered in an unclean environment? Teresa, UWL is signed up anytime. Right, yeah, anytime, day or night. And my husband sends you the program within 24 hours. And as soon as you accept the Facebook invitation, you can get in the group. Nancy wants to know the boots. I got them up near True North. I think it was called Clark's. They're vegan boots, and I don't know the name. So just scrolling down. And also, I don't know if they're watching, but I do want to thank Kenny and Eden so much for their support over the last couple of years, really helping me do almost every broadcast except for a couple that I did by myself, which, as you see, is a lot more difficult. Sister has a brain tumor. Sorry to hear that your sister has a brain tumor. Consider calling True North for a free consult. See if fasting could possibly help. Yeah, this is a hard way to do it, guys. So anyway, I'm going to go now, get ready for my next broadcast. And thank you guys so much for your support of my work. If you want to ever connect with me in person, I'm drastically cutting down on travel. So the two places you can always find me, it'll be next year now, is the Live Ultimate Weight Loss Conference, which takes place Labor Day weekend at the Tuscany. And boy, make sure you're on my mailing list when we announce who the speakers are for next year, because they're good ones. And also at True North Health Center, the last 10 days of the year at the holiday extravaganza. So if you want to connect in person in a meaningful way, that would be the best. So anyway, all right. Tammy says a clean environment is critical to her success. You don't have to use willpower when you only have clean food around. Absolutely. You know, willpower is a very limited resource, Tammy, and it doesn't take any willpower to not eat something that isn't there, or to eat something that is there. Lavanda, where did I get my cool shirt? I got it at the Harvest Festival, which, by the way, is happening again December 1st in Pomona. So if you wanted to try California balsamic vinegars, that company will be there. So, yep, my parents. All right, well, I'll try to answer these also. And if you do follow me on YouTube, I'm 1,000 responses behind. I thought about locking the YouTube page so that people couldn't comment. My husband said that people don't like that, but every time somebody comments on YouTube, I get an email to another account, and I really do try to answer them all individually, but it's just overwhelming because the more YouTubes I have, the more comments I'm getting. So, all right, so you've got 100 episodes. You have everything you need to succeed, whether you win the scholarship to Ultimate Weight Loss or not. Congratulations to whoever the winner is going to be. And thank you guys all for entering. I really appreciate it. And if you don't win, still consider checking out the program or just doing the program without being in the program. Lots of people do. You know, I was speaking at a conference about a year ago, and somebody came up to me and said, well, I never joined your program, but I reversed, you know, my kidney disease and lost 80 pounds. So, you know, the program is great for the support. A lot of people, it's critical to community, especially if you don't have it in your life or in your own community, but you don't need it to eat fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. Eat to the left of the red line. That is the answer. All right. Take care. Bye, everybody.